Good evening, all you wonderful people out there in Facebook and YouTube land this evening here on the Issues Room. Volcano Shelton with you coming in with another edition. This is our seventh edition. Let me bring in my colleagues in studios this evening. We are back, and it's great that we can be back here together to celebrate another day. Just grateful to be alive, and I'm sure my colleagues feel the same. Today, we have a very important broadcast, and I just want to encourage you to share the link. Coming now, if you on our viewing, uh, we want to see you log in so that we will show that you're there. Come in the chat room. Let us know that you're picking up signal wherever you are. Um, we come on Tuesday, 7 p.m., which of course today is Tuesday, and we'll be coming back on Friday with another edition at 7 p.m. Same time, which is usually 7 or rather 11 p.m. In Africa, most African countries, for instance, on the West Coast. Today, we have a very important discussion. If you looked at our posting on our pages, we mentioned that we'll be looking at the Liberian refugee saga currently trending in the Ghana, particularly the Bujuburu camp. Let me welcome my two colleagues. Start with the female, Massa Washington.
Good evening, Volcano. Good evening, Moses. It's good to see you guys again. It's been one whole week since I last saw you guys and since we spoke. Good evening, fellow Liberians, friends of Liberia and the issues room in the radio land and television land. It's good to be back. Thank you so much for all the support. And this evening promises to be very exciting again. And please stay with us for the ride. Thank you.
Moses?
Yes, hi to everybody. I don't want to say good evening because I don't know where somebody will be watching me from. But I just say it is pleasing to be back, appearing in the issues room. It's one of those things that really bring
Got to
joy to me.
project a little bit,
So let me
Moses.
say hi. Yeah, let me say hi to the both of you, Masa and Volcano. It's pleasing to be back with you guys this evening, and to our audience out there. I also want to say hi to them and welcome them to to this discussion, which is going to be very thought provoking.
Interestingly, we had three folks to come in tonight to hold these discussions with us, and you and I know a lot of people don't even believe that the Buddha camp is still existing, and for some of those who don't think that is existing, it is indeed existing, and so we have three folks to come on: the executive director of the Liberia Refugee Network, the public relations officer and the volunteer liaison officer. But from what we tend to experience at this point, they might be having technical difficulties. As you and I know, technology in Africa is still evolving, particularly, the West African sub-region. So internet connectivity might be the problem, but we hope if they can still make it in, we appreciate it because our callers, our viewers, and those who will be in studios here with us, meaning watching and listening, will really hope that they could have come to discuss some of the main crust of what's trending, because social media has a way of inflaming things and making it more bigger than it seems, and they will have been the voices and the first folks to tell the story. But Moses, you have done some extensive background regarding the situation and Buduburan camp. So I'll begin with you to open the conversation. Tell us, give that historical timeline about where this whole camp started and where we are today.
Thank you. Let's begin first by looking at Bujuburan refugee camp. The refugee camp is located in Ghana, West Africa. This camp was established in the 90s. In 1990, beginning of December 24th, 1989, when Liberians went to civil war, Uh, Thousands of Liberians fled the shores of Liberia for various countries in West Africa.
Sorry,
And Ghana,
let me just hold you to a pause quick. If you have your telephone in studios, just put them on vibrate. Because I'm hearing something before someone calls you and it distracts you. All right, so just do that. I've already done mine, so go ahead.
yeah. So as I was saying, when the civil war erupted in Liberia on December 24th, thousands of Liberians fled the country for various, countries in West Africa, and Ghana having to be one of those. So Liberians are left when they went to Ghana. The Ghanaian authority decided to give them the opportunity to seek sanctuary. So they remained in Ghana. Beginning in the early 90s, the Bujuburu camp was set up. So refugees that were there between December 24th, 1989 to 1996 stayed there until we had the second civil war in Liberia. That was we started in 1999 to 2003. After Mr. Taylor won the presidency, so another crisis erupted and people fled.
But also don't
That,
also Moses, don't forget the April 6th war took a
yeah,
lot of Liberians on the Buck Challenge.
absolutely. So people fled. They went to Ghana, and Bunduburam became more like a household word for most Liberians. Whenever we heard Bunduburam, we knew exactly we're talking about a camp that provided, safe haven for Liberian refugees that were in Ghana at the time. So when they went there, the United Nations High Commission for Refugee worked with them, provided them support, all of the support that they needed to get. They stayed there until 2007 when the political situation in Liberia started to stabilize. After Saliva administration came to power, um, the United Nations High Commissions, started saying that, hey, well, it seems that Liberia is making progress. And it's now time to begin to make the transition. People need to begin to go back home. So by 2010, the UNCHR was still holding this discussion, and it is my understanding that in 2012 they came the refugee status of Liberians in Ghana, came to an end. There was cessation, and the UNHCR acting on a 1951 convention. This is the convention that says that, hey, if someone flees a country and go to another country, if the person's situation stabilizes, the condition which necessitated, the displacement, when those conditions no longer exist, then the person can no longer be classified as a refugee. So predicated on that convention, the UN withdrew all of its support, the UNCR support, to Liberian refugees. So after the cessation of the refugee status, what happened was that ECOWAS got involved. And then the Liberians that resided there, before the cessation of the refugee status, we had 12,000 Liberian refugees. And let me quickly throw this in. I'm sure you may have heard about this prominent Canadian Liberian soccer player, Alfonso Davis. Mr. Davis was born on Budubura. So it tells you how prominent this camp is, in West Africa. So, as I was saying, when the refugee status of our people came to an end because the situation in Liberia had ceased, had improved, uh, then ECOWAS got involved. Those who decided to stay on the camp were given what they call ECOWAS immigrant status. And with that status, they were given the opportunity to carry ECOWAS passports. They were also given the opportunity to adjust or assimilate or integrate into the greater Ghanaian community. So, reportedly, we are told 7,000 Liberians uh, 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 refused to go back home and they stay on the camp. Now, the challenge our people started happening, started having was that there was difficulties in securing employment. A good number of them went out trying to seek employment. They had difficulties. They couldn't get jobs. Even the least jobs you could take them about. So some of them started doing domestic work, doing chores for people who could afford to give them food. And some started to do, petty trade just as a means of surviving. And over the years, what has happened is that the Ghanaian authority, come to the point that, hey, look, you people no longer have refugee status, and we think that it is time that you go back home. We are now ready to begin the demolition of homes at the refugee camp. So in most recent time, the situation got out of control. So that's when you started hearing all this news about, buildings being destroyed. So that's where we are.
Masa, anything you want to add?
Yeah, sure. I just want to give, I'm very familiar with the camp. When I was in and out Liberia working as a journalist, I covered the effect of octopus on the sub-region, and Ghana was my base for that assignment. I went to the Ivory Coast and then went to Ghana and then went to Nigeria to assess the refugee situation for my paper at the time. But then also when I worked as as a commissioner on the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Liberia, the TRC, we did an extensive diaspora work on the Bujuburu camp. We collected statements, and we even had some people, refugees from the camp who actually came to Liberia and took part in the hearings. So I do have some very good knowledge of the camp. But let me just add to what Moses says. By the way, Moses, excellent job, excellent background there.
Thank you.
Like Moses stated, the camp was created in 1990 as a response to Liberian refugees fleeing the war at the time. It was a Ghanaian ship at the time that was evacuating Ghanaian citizens who were caught up in the war. And so the first batch of Liberian refugees arrived in Accra, Ghana, aboard that ship. And at the time, of course, the camp is located in Gomoa district, the central region of Ghana, approximately 45 kilometers from Accra. And the camp is located actually on tribal land. The land was donated to the government of Ghana, working along with the United Nations High Commission for Refugee to, accommodate Liberian refugees. It was meant to be a temporary arrangement, not a permanent forever stay. So people were not owning land on the camp. They were temporarily given whatever, plot of land that they had. The land is tribal land belonging to a tribe or comprised of a lot of chiefs. And apparently now they're ready for their land because, Ghana is expanding. Accra is expanding. If you are familiar with Ghana, you will, every time you go there, you will be amazed at the development. So apparently they are now ready to also extend whatever development to that part of Ghana, the central region. And at the time, initially between 1990 to 1992, they had about 5,000 refugees that were being hosted because the camp at the time was created on 140 acres of land. And they estimated at the time that that land will be able to host about 5,000 refugees. They didn't think that the refugees situation or population would have surged to more than that. But however, by June of 2004, the refugee population on the Bujuburu camp had increased to about 52,000 in number. So of course, it completely, overran the camp and extended to nearby villages, like the village of Kaswa and other villages. So actually, now other villages and tribal people who were not part of the Bujuburu arrangement had to abruptly, unstructurally accommodate Liberian refugees because of the surge. The reason is because the Liberian war was on, off and on, off and on. And, it was like a bell curve. So it starts from low and then it goes high and then it comes down and then it goes back high, it comes down. So that's how it was. And then following April 6th, it, the population of Liberian refugees just completed surge to the highest. So by 2004 June, you had a population of about 52,000 Liberian refugees on the camp. When the TRC went to Accra, Ghana to engage the camp, I led that effort because I was the chairperson for the diaspora project. I was the only commissioner who was recruited from the diaspora, and I was living here, but I had worked in the sub-region. I had lived as a refugee in the Ivory Coast, in Ghana, in Nigeria. I was just like all over the place, fleeing for your life every time. So I went back home and I made the case. I tried to, sell the idea to other commissioners that we should have a diaspora program, because a lot of Liberians, who some of them helped to create the war, some of them knew about the war. You all know the war didn't start from Liberia. It started from the United States. People actually sat in the United States and the sub-region in Ghana and Ivory Coast as part of the hub and planned this war. So it was very important for the TRC to also incorporate the diaspora in the TRC process. Now, the Liberian TRC is the first TRC to have ever done that. So by the time I took my team there on the camp in 2007, it was June 2007, and we introduced the TRC Diaspora Project, where we trained 10 professional Liberians to help us collect statements on the camp. By the time we did the training, statement taking, and everything, the refugees population had reduced a little bit from 52,000 to 32,000. And the reason it had reduced is because we had elections, and Mr. Taylor was no longer there. They had the Accra Peace Agreement. They had the elections. Ellen Johnson said he was president. And some people felt hopeful. Some of the refugees went home. But the UNHCR at the time also voluntarily repatriated people who wanted to go back home. The history with the repatriation is that every time there was some glimmer of hope in the Liberian situation, the UNHCR tried to work with some Liberians to have them resettled. Like when they had the different council of state, people felt hopeful. Some people went home. They wanted to go home. They gave them the package. They went home. When Mr. Taylor won the election in 1997, became president, some Liberians who wanted to go home, the UNHCR and the Ghanaian Refugee Council worked with those Liberians and helped repatriate them. Some didn't want to go, but those who wanted to go went. And when Ellen became president again, we had a sizable amount of Liberians who were willing to go. And the UNHCR again, I think it was the largest repatriation by the UNHCR at the time. And a lot of Liberians were repatriated back home. And at that time, the Ghanaian authorities had begun to start discussing with the Liberian Refugee Council, which was, a professional group of Liberians who were representing the interests of Liberian refugees, along with the Ghanaian Government Office of National Disaster Management Organization. They had a director on the camp. So these two groups are working together to see, to assist the refugees, but then also to help in the repatriation. And at that time, if you wanted to go home to Liberia, you were given a package by the UN, assisted by, the Ghanaian government and stuff. And some people actually received the packages. Some of them didn't go home. Some of them decided that home was not safe enough. They wanted to stay in the state. But all through the years before this time, Liberians were being repatriated. They were being resettled in the West. There were some Canadian programs where some Liberians were resettled in Canada. Some Liberians were resettled here in the United States. I know the Lutheran World Service repatriation refugee program was very active in that area. So a lot of Liberians were resettled in second countries. And some were not that lucky, and they had the option of either being assimilated in the greater Ghanaian community, or be repatriated home to Liberia, or remain there, but at their own peril, meaning that if they chose to stay in Ghana, they were going to be on their own, because the UN was not going to support Liberian refugees on the camp forever. So this thing now with the Ghanaian authorities writing the refugees on the camp and giving them up to September 30th to vacate the camp because they want to do demolition, is not new. It's been the off and on thing for a while. The only difference is this time around, it seems to be really, really serious. They look at, they really want their land because the tribal people have been really blocking the central Ghanaian government for their land. But more
Thank you, thank
information
you.
as the show goes on.
Thank you, thank you. We hear that the ultimatum is now extended into December, so they're still buying time. But Thomas Awaji just wrote here that the Ghanaian government said they will build houses and help pay for the people to return home. Liberians are in that camp by choice, or he meant to say not by choice. There's nothing in Liberia to go back to. That's what he's saying. But that's not true, Thomas. Liberia has come a long way since the elections of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Um, and I think that some of the folks who've gone home have gotten acclimated and have rebound. Of course, at this point in time, employment is difficult. But wouldn't you rather be home, looking for your little Boba John and chicken green and um,
Volcano.
farm cabbage or something, rather than
Just
being
for
in a
come back
country
to
where they're about to
Liberia.
kick you out. But Masa and Moses, something that struck my attention here in this whole thing. Now, what happens to the kids who were born 1990 to now in Ghana? What do you know about their citizenship status? Are those people are still in the same boat of being refugees in on an African continent? I mean, what both of you know? Moses
What?
coming.
Yeah, look, if I could comment on that, let me say this. I know a little about the immigration laws in Ghana, but my assumption would be that for the fact that those people were born naturally born, I mean that they were born on the soil of Ghana, I would assume, again, I may be wrong, but I would assume that they will be considered what Ghanaians. So if they are Ghanaians, then now we'll be talking about the parents. Now, if somebody was born 1990, from 1990 up to now, it's 31 years. That person is no longer a child. That person can make a decision to either decide to relocate to Liberia, I mean, to locate to Liberia with his or her parents, or say, hey, I was born in Ghana, I'm a Ghanaian, I'm going to live in Ghana. Now, we also need to be honest here with ourselves. The UN 1951 Convention, which talks about cessation of immigration, I mean, of refugee status, if the condition which lay the basis for an individual claiming asylum, that condition no longer exists, I'm not being insensitive here, but I think it would just make a lot of sense that people begin to find other alternatives. You have to, I mean, 31 years for Canada. We're talking about 31 years. Someone said, oh, well, these people have nothing to go back to. That again, that's become subjective. It depends on what you call go back to, you know? Uh,
Let me add this in quick.
yeah.
Someone just wrote here, and this guy is a historian.
Hmm.
I believe he's already obtained his doctorate in history.
Okay.
The name is uh, 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 Ikudayo Dixon,
Hmm.
and Ikudayo said he sent a video to me. I may not be able to access it now, but this is not the first time that the Ghanaian government have deported Liberians from Ghana. He
Hmm.
said this happened during President Tubman administration.
Yeah.
He's also saying here that this whole thing, the Liberians in the refugee camp knew that it was temporary.
Yeah.
The UNHCR released the place, and the condition was that at a certain time they will have to leave.
All
And
right.
and so for them to make it seem as though and when you watch the video trending on social media, Massa, one papi there, he just bouncing grumble, he's saying leaving. In fact, he will sue the Ghanaian government to God. And
Yeah, the message will be
he's
an
a
Uko
lawyer.
also go, right? The message will be go in heavy.
Yeah, but what do you make of that? What do you make
Well,
of that?
I did see the video, and it's easy. We can sit on this show and have a light moment about it, but I think one of the reasons too. Again, I'm like in the middle of this because one, like Moses and the historian just said, the land was temporary. At the time, people were being resettled. There was a meeting. There was, consistent meetings and public bulletins put out all over the camp. People were told this is a temporary arrangement, and people were being resettled abroad in other parts of the West. So, it was okay. But then also, let's look at the other part of it. At the time, between June 2004, you had about 52,000 Liberians who were refugees on our camp. And actually, about 65% of those refugees, I'm quoting the UNHCR, about 65% of those refugees comprise women and children. So you have women and children who were representing the refugee population, overwhelmingly. And as someone who frequented the camp, I used to go there to look for family and friends. And then also when the bulk challenge situation happened following the April 6th fighting, and when bulk challenge landed in Ghana, I ran there with some provision and stuff, hoping I would see my brothers or see some friends or see some of my neighbors and stuff. And so I have a little bit, I can understand a little bit why some Liberians will be hesitant to move, because let's look at the social aspect of it. We are professional social worker. At the time the TRC was working on the camp in 2007, I worked closely with the UNHCR, Mrs. Olivia Shannon, our former media trainer and boss. She was representing the UNHCR office at the time. She was the liaison for the camp because she worked with the UN at the time. So when I went there, someone told me, "Oh, Mrs. Sherman, Miss Sherman." So I met with her. She was very helpful. She came to a couple of my engagements. She opened doors and stuff like that. And we discussed Liberian refugees were considered in the refugee community as sophisticated refugees. And the reasons many of the reasons they refer to Liberians as sophisticated refugees was that the way Liberians transformed the camp. Now, it's so interesting that back home, we consider ourselves as lazy people. We only want government jobs because everybody wants to be a minister, everybody wants to be a senator, legislator, and president. So back home, we don't really appreciate that we have skills, that we have drive, that we have resilience, and that we can be entrepreneurs. But on the refugee camp, the Liberians, when I first went to that refugee camp, it was a forest, and it was just tent. When you watched the news of refugees in other countries and stuff, other countries, it was just tent on the ground, and snakes, cobras and other snakes used to come and bite people up, and scorpions and all of that. That's how primitive that entire 140 acres of land was that they gave to Liberians. At the time, it was okay for even the ordinary Ghanaians because they were like, oh, you know what? The Liberians refugee are no problem to us. They're far away from the city limits because they were way up in the forest. That place was a forest. But between 1990 to 1994, every time you went to that camp, Liberian had transformed it. In fact, the camp was zoned up into 12 zones, and the different zones after places in Monrovia, like they had Broad Street, they had Waterside, they had Painesville, they had Lane Street, and all those places. They had JFK, trying to remember whom they tried. They were resilient, and they tried to make themselves as comfortable as possible in their refugee status. They opened beauty salons. I went to the beauty salon before to do my hair. I went to a couple of the restaurants because I knew one woman from back home who was running her restaurant in Liberia. She was on the camp. She was running her restaurant. I was comfortable eating there. They had the boutique. When families send them money and stuff from abroad, they open a boutique. They open the restaurants. Some of them were even creative. Some Liberians got together and opened a school, an elementary school where Liberian kids will go and they were teaching them, some Liberians who were college graduate and high school graduate who wanted to be youth. Or some of them, they opened Forex Bureau. They opened computer center.
There's a church, a Baptist church.
Exactly. There were several churches. They even opened a mosque. They opened several churches. They opened schools. They opened youth centers. So, Liberians really, really developed that piece of land. Now, the houses were not over the top fabulous because it was a temporary status. It was not the land, but they made it as comfortable as possible. And I know I went to one or two houses on the camp that actually had flush toilet in the house, the refugee. Yeah, they built a house and they put flush toilet in it. They had tailor shops and all of that. So
It sounds like they have taken Liberia and turned it into Little Liberia because the Liberian man is proud.
yeah.
And to be honest with you, not to sound so personal here, but you and I know the way we lived in Africa. We were considered the small America, the most civilized people. We were concerned about our well-being, our health, and all of that. But what is bugging me is that why it is true that this stance has gotten to a point where the government must act, Moses.
Mhm.
Um, and again, I want to encourage many of the callers or viewers rather tonight to call in because this is your show. And the reason why is your show. If you've lived on the camp and there's a fond memory and you know you want to share it, we appreciate it. The name Dennis Tane Chele Ja he says he was there from 97 to 2000. So that's just one person. Uh, Precious Carolyn Smith, welcome. Let me just quickly acknowledge some of our folks here. Thomas Awaji, Ikudayo Dixon, Thomas Awaji again, yeah, successful Mano. Ambassador Romeo B. Sona of GSA Road, welcome. Vitus Irving Euphrates Shelton in Congo Town, Minister Gerald Aaron Cummings, Stephen Benda, Quintel Kanasua, Alexander Ashley, all you folks, welcome to the issues room tonight. But coming back to the thought, one of the things that I think that brought something, you know, to where we are, they said from what I heard, and this could be dispelled, is that Liberians had too much U.S. dollars and they didn't look like they were refugee and they started creating jealousy. Why the people who themselves had the land couldn't do anything with it? Liberians went there and just started showing off. Moses,
Yeah, look,
Massa,
before I even make a comment regarding that, let me just provide this information. The issues room made an attempt to speak to someone from the Ghanaian embassy in Washington D.C. I spoke to someone in their consular section by the name of Leila. And she said, well, I asked that, hey, we want a representative. We're going to be discussing this situation because, Liberia and Ghana have a bilateral relationship and being respectful of that. We just thought that it will make a lot of sense to have a representative from the embassy appearing. So leader said to me, well, Moses, unfortunately, I'm not sure we'll be able to appear on Tuesday. However, she asked me to send her an email. And I forwarded that, I wrote that email, sent it out to the chancellery. And since then, we haven't heard from them. So I think it's important to tell our audience that, hey, we reach out.
and you're right.
Right.
And let me
Yeah.
add to that, we had the
Yeah.
executive director.
Hmm.
I'm not going to call his name. The
Yeah.
promo is out there.
Yeah.
Uh, from the Liberia Returning Network, and
Hmm.
also the public relations officer, a female, and the volunteer liaison officer with the LRN. And
Hmm.
we guess they didn't come in studio because of maybe technology. You know, the data and connectivity can be an issue. But if it's anything, we can follow up. Maybe we can bring them back here. Maybe there will be
Obviously.
some updates in the coming weeks
Hmm.
because from the videos you see trending, it seems
Yeah.
as though people are rolling up their sleeves and ready to fight. Uh,
Of course.
like I said, the old man says he's not leaving. He's not leaving. He will not leave, and no matter what, he's not leaving, and he will sue the Ghanaian government to God. Madam Yvette Sifas, welcome. Bole, Bob Bole, welcome. And Ella Hook, welcome. Welcome to the issues room. Again, if you were on the camp, you can call. We'll be opening the lines at 8 o'clock. But Masa, this is a serious problem. But here what it
But
is. Do you
quickly,
see, come
Vukano,
again?
Vukano, if I could just appeal to you, is it possible that you can play a segment of the
I
video
mean,
that is circulating
Yeah.
online so people
Okay, all right,
can get
we'll
to
come to
have a
that.
feel of
We'll,
what we're talking about.
let me go back in queue, but we'll come to that.
Sure.
But I just wanted
Yeah,
to
go
bring in
ahead.
Masa quick.
Hmm.
Masa, Moses just struck the point where we have a bilateral relationship with the Republic of Ghana, but this is the second time around where Liberians have been thrown out of Ghana. It happened under the administration of President Totman, and here it is under the you know leadership of President Weah. President Weah, who I would say Ghana is his second home. I have not heard anything from the president. I'm not sure if he's going to be involved, even though we said the United Nations had given heads up. But yet and still, my concern is for that population of Liberians who were born there since 1990. They're 31 years old, put it that way. Some of them are adults with children, the family. Where are they going to go to Liberia? So where is that leeway? Because Ghanaians are operating in Liberia. You remember the story in the early 80s when they had the uprising, and a lot of them had to travel in the sub region. We brought in a lot of Ghanaians to Liberia. Some of them were all in our schools. They were teaching. They got jobs. They opened their own little communities, fish town, and so many things that were involving, and nobody bothered them. I heard that you cannot work in Ghana as a Liberian native holding a Liberian passport. So why are we not getting some kind of leeway?
Well, with me, I would like for us to be careful how we try to butt heads with our neighbors, and especially our brothers and sisters, in the sub-region. Um, I know, I mean, Ghanaians have not only deported Liberians before. Liberians were deported in the 60s, and it happened, I think, sometimes in the 80s again. But Ghanaians also deported Nigerians following the end of the Biafra War with Ojukwu and the rest of them. But then also, Ghanaian citizens have been deported from other parts of the sub-region as well. So I would like for us to tread, respectfully to everybody, to all of the countries named, but then also to rise above the fray. What I would like to say is that I was in Ghana when the bulk challenge arrived. We know that it was difficult. Uh, People did not want to accept Liberian refugees, I guess because our neighbors in the sub-region were getting tired. They were having this Liberian war fatigue, as I would like to call it, because our war was just on and on and on. It was becoming a nuisance to the sub-region. Don't forget, Sierra Leoneans were sympathetic towards Liberians until Liberians took the war to Sierra Leone. Ghanaians and Ivorians and other people, they opened their borders to us. I was a refugee in Ghana. I fled to the Ivory Coast before. I fled to Ghana and I fled to Nigeria. So while it is true that it's a human, we're human beings. Sometimes human frailties will set in, and when people are dealing with each other, like that, sometimes these things happen. But let's continue to look at the bigger picture. Ghanaians did finally allow the bulk challenge to anchor in Ghana. They did give, like I said, that 140 acres of land to Liberians, and Liberians have been there for a while. And if was there some jealousy that came to play? Maybe, no doubt, sometimes, because here you are a guest of people, and you're supposed to be a refugee, but you're throwing around all these dollars in Ghana. The dollars is really hot. It's hot currency, and people saw, Liberian refugees were living this opulent lifestyle, if you may say so, compared to what quote unquote a standard refugee or status might be, as we've seen it in other countries. And so, of course, yeah, people will feel somehow, but I don't think that would be the overriding factor as to what is happening now. I think one of the main reasons for all of this thing is that Liberians in Ghana are no longer considered refugees because the war has been over. We've had two consecutive national presidential elections. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was elected. She served her 12 years, her two terms. George Weah is now president. He's in his first term, and so under the international refugee status, Liberians in Ghana are no longer considered refugees because of the change in the in what's happening back home, the political situation. And this is not the first time that Liberian refugees were given an ultimatum to leave the land. I think this is like the third or fourth time, because I know following Ellen Johnson Sirleaf victory in her first term, the UN and along with other partners and the Ghanaian authorities, they'd come out with a program to voluntarily repatriate Liberians who wanted to come back home, and the Ghanaians gave them three options at the time: either you accepted the package, the repatriation package, and you went back home to Liberia, or you became a Ghanaian citizen, or if you choose to stay, you are going to stay. You are going to be independent of the UN and also of the Ghanaian authorities, meaning that you are going to be on your own hustling. So Liberians, again, we're not in the situation. I've lived as a refugee before. I lived on that camp, not as a refugee, but I went there a lot. And I saw some of the situation, and I saw some of the reason why people didn't want to leave. Like, I spoke to a lot of Liberian refugees who were there, and some of them actually called in or some perpetrators. There was a family that said, if we cannot be repatriated somewhere else or resettled somewhere else, we're going to stay on this camp until we die, because we are not going back to Liberia, because this guy murdered almost our entire family. I'm not going to call people's name. That's not what this show is about. So I spoke to this family that said, we're not going to go back home because this guy murdered almost our entire family. He knows us. We could identify him. Some of us saw him. We are afraid. He's very powerful, you know. And so those are some of the situation and some of the reasons why Liberians don't want to go back home. And like I said, also, Liberians have vested or invested heavily on the camp. You know, they got a lot of investment there. They made themselves comfortable. But then again, if the people want their land at the end of the day, what can we do? But I would think that the government, the Liberian government, needs to be assertive. You see, when something like this is happening, we don't know what the government is doing because we have not heard or seen any serious policy statement coming from the government addressing this. When these kinds of things are happening to your citizens, you can't just pretend it doesn't happen. It's not going to go away because you don't do anything about it. It's going to be there. You can't just pretend. So I think this government, our government, President I think they need to really be assertive about this. They need to be proactive and see how they can help. Like one of the ladies on the video said, if they bring motor for us now, Liberians will leave. We're asking them to please.
I'm about to play the video.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see if I can get the video shared here. So we can go with it and hopefully get it played. Are you guys hearing the video?
Not yet.
I'm not hearing.
Okay, hold on a second here. This is interesting.
Is it playing?
Yes. I had it queuing and then
okay. But take your time and queue it.
Yeah. That's what we're doing technology. Every day we're doing it.
But look,
are you guys seeing the video right now?
Yeah, but we're still not hearing.
Are you sure you're not hearing the video?
It is playing, but I'm not hearing no sound.
It's playing, but no sound.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay. But why you?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Open a bowler for us, and then they bring buses. I bet
you hearing the video?
Yeah, but we're not seeing the video.
All right. Let me get back.
If they bring buses, to this sun that's shining, like where people will enter and go.
Please show the video.
I'm coming.
He's working on it.
Intention that they are going with, they are not going with good intention. The thing that is going on ground is I'm not satisfied at all. Because you see,
it's okay.
If they want us to go,
you see it now?
they should open the bowler for us. And then they bring buses. I bet you to go here when the sun that is shining. Liberian people will go, enter motor will go. If they bring buses to this sun that's shining, Liberian people will enter and go. But when they are going back, know that the intention that they are going away, they are not going with good intention. The thing that is going on ground is I'm not satisfied at all, because you see, they brought two options to us. 2012, if you can remember. They said that we should choose to go back home or to stay. Some of us have agreed to stay. We expected them to give us some packages, maybe finding houses for us. And we understand. Taking us from out of the refugee camp, relocating us, finding houses, giving us some allowances. Maybe if you are in a working class, they make you to work. If you have the qualification, right? Certain works. If you are supposed to go to school, send you to school. But up to now, we haven't gotten such a package yet. Now, they give us 400 cities. Think to yourself, can 400 cities find a house for you for a year in Ghana here? 400 cities. Can it get you a house? That's the money they are announcing around. They gave us something. Because I was watching a certain news. I don't know who was the minister.
So they gave you 400 cities?
400 cities. Per family hairs.
So right now, you are supposed to move today. What are you going to move? Have you packed your things already?
I didn't pack anything. It's there. If they want to come and break their house over things, then they break it. We will go and sleep in the street. Maybe that's what they want.
Of Ghanaians, Liberians, Ivorians, all of us, we are all one. So they should see about us.
Are you going to move from here?
No, when they say we should move from there, UN should come and decide. We are living with UN people here. You understand? You can't just drop somebody like this. They will come for us. We are tired.
Liberians, they don't come here on their own. Liberians are here because of something that happened back home. You get me? Okay. If people or individuals are coming up to say Liberians should leave this place and go back home, there are certain things they should consider. These people have lived at this number of time. So if you want to take them from here, let's get certain things straight. Then we can get them from here. Look at a passport given to a Liberian. And in the passport, you saw my friend, I showed it to you. You cannot state in the passport that he shouldn't work here, he shouldn't do anything here. Meanwhile, in Liberia, we have Ghanaians that are working in the ministries. Ghanaians are working without resident permit. For example, go to a place called West Point. Go in place, Buchanan, they are there. Go in Looking Town, they are there. Go in Maryland, Fishtown, they are there. All the coastal area are being controlled by Ghanaians. They have Ghanaian settings in Liberia. That's why I mentioned this place. They have Ghanaian settings in Liberia. That is the community where when they born a Ghanaian, he speaks Twi. That is a pure Ghanaian community. You right? But you don't do this to people living here. That they should leave, you're going to break their houses down. Meanwhile, these houses were built by them. They suffer the sweat in the building houses. So if you want to take them from here, there's a proper channel you can use. A better way that you take them from there, you don't bring hurt to them, and you bring hurt to Ghanaians living back home. You see it? Now, if you take them from here and they have that pains in their heart, they go back home. What will happen to the Ghanaians there? They will start stoning them. They will start killing them the same way they do to the people here. And it will be very bad for you to come and take someone from here without the proper channel. Go through the rightful channel and get them from here. Not in this situation.
If you have your house and you live in your house, it says leave the house and don't lock me how we go out. If you are living in your house and the lock door on, you say go out, how we go out.
So you are saying that they need to give you the opportunity before you can go?
Yes. I'm saying number one, Ghana government says should go. No people will go. But border is closed. How will we go? We'll fly and go? No. We can't fly and go. Right now, your government of Ghana saying that the chief have power government. It's true. Because this is Liberian and Ghana. It's not government, it's not chief and Liberian. It's chief and Ghana government discussing. Liberian government out. I can say because why? Government of Liberia are waiting up in Ghana embassy to accept Liberian for December 1st, which we received last night. Ghana Foreign Ministry read Liberian embassy that December 1st should fight from the line. But now we are saying people can't discuss about issue. We don't care. If they like today, They bring entire Ghana to come bring the camp that will stay here. It won't for anything. We just look at you. If you want to do, but fact is that tell your government open border will go back to our country.
But even if you break their house today, I will stay here today. I have nowhere to go. If you see anyone parking that low that way, they are Ghanaians. I'm a refugees. There is three sets of refugees that are living on this camp. We have those that they gave the passport to, and they have those that they gave a letter to, and they have those to re-apply them. So I'm part of those who have to re-apply UN. So I'm staying here. I have nowhere to go. If you break the house today, I will stay here today. I will not remain even a top for the house. Go and break the house and lose the clothes. Let UN come in and let me ask UN. Me, I have no deal with you. I have deal with UN. Let me ask UN. Why you bring me here and you leave me outside? You brought me here to shelter me, to give me food to eat. But end of the day, you moved the back on me. You said I should go. How am I going when you close your border? Should I walk to go? I don't have anything to do here. I don't have to work here, as you said. So which means Ghana is not to you. Fine, it's Red Cross and UN who brought me here. So now that Red Cross and UN find place for me to go. That is simple.
Oh, my being here is not in vain. I came here as a refugee. I never came here to hustle. I never came here to cause problem. Liberia is a peaceful country. We love the whole world. The whole world want to live in Liberia right now.
You're supposed to pack out by close of day today. Have you done that?
I already packed my things and I cannot pack out because they have not come out to my rescue to give my doable solution. They are not giving me my doable solution. So I have to stay on the camp. I will stay here. I will sleep on the street. That is it.
Ghana government told Nana Akufo-Addo told us that we should leave. And now our global solution is not yet giving it to us. They said we should leave. And we're not getting anything from them yet. How can we leave today? So what they have all, they should give it out that you can go. Because if they can't give it, we'll stay here in their house and we'll not leave. And even they break their houses, we'll still be there. When we leave there, the UN will come for us and we can.
I will not move.
You're saying you're not going to move.
I will not move because Ghana Refugee Board, Ghana government, Ghana UNHCR have not applied the tribal solution for the refugees. That is why you see they can't park with Liberians. When they come down with a tribal solution, they will not see Liberians on their camp here. Everybody will go. We have voluntary repatriation, we have integration, we have resettlement. The three. They fail to apply it, and that's what the refugees are waiting for. And we must get it. We must get it. Ghana citizens can leave Ghana to go in other people's country to enjoy, to bring riches to their land. Ghana must allow Liberians to be benefited from the blood that we wasted in our land. So indeed, I want to appeal to the government. My appeal, we are not appealing to stay. I am not appealing to stay in Ghana. We're ready to go. But before we go, let it apply the three tribal solution. Second appeal, let the government mark the houses that they are going to demolish. Those mark houses. Let it compensate the people before they demolish them. If they not do it, we will sue them to court. We will sue the government to court. If the government not compensate and they demolish, we will sue them to court. 32 years, refugees are not working. Refugees are not working. When you say go, where are we going?
Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and click on that bell icon and get.
Yeah. But look.
So
Go ahead.
before you guys come in, let me quickly remind our listeners and viewers that the lines are open. You can call us. We're looking forward to speaking with a lot of you. Let me post the number. The number is 484-292-4397. Again, 484-292-4397. This is the Issues Room. We come on Tuesday at 7 p.m. and on Friday at 7 p.m. This is our 7th edition since we started on September 14. We're here to stay. Massa Washington, Moses Handy, and my name is Volcano Shelton. We are the host in the Issues Room. Today we're discussing the Liberian refugee saga that is currently trending in Bujuburu, Ghana, the Republic of Ghana in West Africa. You watched the video, you saw the video, you know what's happening. The folks say they're not leaving because the durable solution package is not in place. But again, you guys cover extensively the whole story that this is not a new news that just pop
Situation.
up from somewhere.
Mhm.
There's a tendency for people to know that something is imminent, it's coming, and then they continue to delay and think that when the bounds crumble the Liberian way, you know, they will get the end result. Of course, now they got some kind of extension till December. But let's see where this goes. But you can see here that there are a lot of folks in destitute. I mean, where would they go? I don't know if Ghana practicing eminent domain to pay them off for the structure, how makeshift or how good it is, pay them according to what the market value is if they're gonna demolish. We don't know whether this is gonna take place. And I'm sure some of the folks are afraid because they're not gonna have money, if they move out of there. Then it's you and myself who still have relatives and family members that are gonna be bogged over time. So where do we go with this? Let's start with you, Moses.
Yeah, but look, Volcano, honestly speaking, our people have an uphill battle yet because we're talking about 9 years now since the United Nations High Commission for Refugee declared the refugee status of those people as what no longer necessary, acting on the 1951 Convention of the UN, which says that the status of a refugee, can be declared um, no longer needed if the condition that lay the basis for the person being granted refugee status no longer exists. And in the case of Liberia, as per UN report, Liberia is today a stable country. You have political governance. So our people in Liberia no longer have that legal basis. We're talking about 9 years since the UNHCR walked away from this refugee camp. And again, as we stated earlier, these people are on a private property. There are also reports that besides residing on a private property, there are reports about what other criminal activities taking place on that camp. So if all of these reports are accurate, then our people have a significant challenge. And again, being refugees, uh, someone being granted a refugee status is not a status of permanency. It's a temporary status. So I think it would just make a lot of sense. Our people begin to find the best alternative to this problem. In 2012, when the refugee status came to an end, or when it was declared as well unnecessary because situation in Liberia had improved, they were granted what ECOWAS immigrant status. With that status, they were given the opportunity to integrate into the Ghanaian community or into the Ghanaian community.
But isn't the same passport that said they can't work? How would they integrate with a
Well,
passport that says they can't work?
no, the ECOWAS passport doesn't say that. It allows them to seek job opportunities. Now,
I thought it
I'm
was
not,
just for travel purpose. The ECOWAS passport would be for travel purpose,
no,
not to.
the ECOWAS passport, there's no, I'm not sure if there's any indication in that passport that says, well, John Brown is ineligible because I do know that a couple of Liberians in Ghana applied for jobs. Some of them were just not fortunate to get hired because of language barrier. In some of those areas, you needed to speak what? The Ghanaian dialects, and some of them could not. So that's one of those significant challenges that our people in Liberia are contending with. But hey, if you have a stable Liberia is making progress, then it makes it difficult for these people to really justify the continuous stay on Bujuburu.
Let me read what Emmanuel Jackson wrote here from Boston, Massachusetts. He says, very unfortunate how Africans treat each other. Ghana received millions for Liberians residing in that refugee camp in Ghana, and they never ever developed the living conditions of our people. He went on to say, I saw a C-SPAN program when President Jerry Rawlings at the time came to America for a state visit in the 1990s during President Clinton's administration. Liberia was top on his agenda of his visit, and it was between 24 about around the amount of $24 million the Ghanaian government received just because Liberian refugees were residing in Ghana. Now, it's coming from Emmanuel Jackson, so we could look that up. But he's a
Yeah, we can
credible guy.
check
He
that.
does
Yeah.
his research. But again, come back to where we are. Again, call us, call those of you who were on that camp. Tell us what your fond memories. I went on that camp in 1993. It's just like Masa said at the time, it was just starting. It didn't. It wasn't much of anything, but I heard that the camp uh, just turned into a little modern community. I wouldn't call it a city, but a community. Masa did mention all of the things, all of the amenities that were there. Um, do you think that those Liberians who stayed over the last 31 years and wasted their resources in Ghana, believing that they could assimilate and become probably Ghanaian citizens, uh, made the wrong choice? Because again, Liberia has been on and off, but since 2004 to now, that's about a good 17 years of stability. And had they, decided to leave then, all of the resources of 16, 17 years could have gone into something in terms of their, getting back on their feet. Masa, what do you think?
I mean, those are all very good points, and but they are what they are. They are suppositions. They are assumptions, and again, I want to understand the situation with the refugees, and at this point in time, I think we can try to blame the Ghanaians for for all we can, but at the end of the day, when you have your citizens abroad as these Liberian refugees in Ghana, and this kind of thing is happening, and then I would think that it behooves the government of our country to be proactive to do something about it. Now the government has tried in the past. The Ellen Sirleaf government tried in the past. I don't know specifically what the RIA government has done about this. I think this is the first time they may be having this kind of crisis on their hand. I know there was a situation with Ghana, with Liberians on the refugee camp before, but I think this is the first time where they actually face imminent demolition of their property and possible homelessness. But Liberia has an embassy in Accra, and we hope that next time, if we should extend this conversation, we will have someone from the embassy to speak, because you would think that at this point in time, for where the crisis is, for how far is reached, there should be some diplomacy going on behind the scene, something that you and me will not hear about, we may not necessarily see, but that will be working out, and then hopefully in the interest of Liberians caught up in this refugee situation in Ghana. Our government, for me, I would say the board is in the court, in the half of the court of our government. Our government needs to do something about this. After all, these are Liberians. This is a Liberian refugee camp in Ghana. So, people will do what they want to do to protect their country. Just because Liberians don't necessarily behave the way as Ghanaians, people are different. But hey, if they want their land, they think they need to move on, they want to develop their place, then our government need to start doing some serious diplomacy behind the scene.
Let me bring this caller in, Masa.
Yeah.
Thanks for your point. The government needs to get involved. There's a caller calling. Caller, where you calling from? What's your name? Caller, are you there? What's going on? Caller, can you hear me? Are you there, caller? You're very low. We barely can hear you. And we have you in queue. So, can you guys hear him?
No.
And no,
All right.
till it, till it,
Let me do something else quick. No, no, don't call back. Stay there. I'm gonna bring you in.
can he raise his voice?
Go ahead. Speak. Let me see. Caller,
Yeah,
can you hear me? Yeah, you got to. I don't know. You're very
we're not
low.
hearing him.
Very low.
Can you hear me better?
Yeah, we're trying
Yes.
to. It's just that you're sounding so far. Go ahead. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Well, this is Gabe Tucker calling from Dallas, Texas.
Okay, the
Yeah.
name is Gabe Tucker. Could you hear him, Moses?
Yeah, let him raise his voice a little bit.
Go ahead, Gabe.
Well, I just wanted to go back in history. This is not the first time that Liberians are facing that situation with Ghana. They deported a lot of Liberians from Ghana, and Tutler, the president, and his government assisted with the repatriation of our citizens. Okay, and I don't see why our government, as inept and weak as they are, they should be assisting our citizens to relocate to bring them home. Simple as that. That's all I got to say. It's just a shame. That's all. The Liberians over there stuck there. That's all.
Thank you, Gabe. So Gabe is saying just like Masa said, the government needs to get involved. Uh, rather than just sit there and let this stuff, fester on and nothing being done. I'm hearing a little bit of statics coming from my connection here.
Hmm.
Yeah, but that's what they're concerned about. And I think you're right, Masa. Uh, when stuff like this happens, it's a shame that your own government and people don't step to the plate, like Moses says, and come in and come with a voice to speak. But imagine the people in Liberia doing the same thing to people who are in the diaspora of maybe different citizenship. They're doing everything to keep you outside of Liberia. How much more attention they would pay to, our folks that out there lingering in West African countries?
Well, I would say for now, let us not be definitive in terms of what the government is doing or is not doing because we haven't heard from them yet
Exactly.
formally. But our appeal would be based on what has been reported and with this video circulating cyberspace. I think it's just important that our government begin to take some concrete actions that are visible for our people to know that hey, somebody is working in the interest because Liberia and Ghana, like I said before, have a long-standing relationship. We all know that when Liberia in was in crisis, when we had years of civil war, we have what troops, Ghanaian troops in Liberia. A lot of Ghanaian soldiers, die in Liberia trying to save what Liberian. So we have come a long way. Anything that can be done to resolve this problem in an amicable way, I think will be highly appreciated by all Liberians in the international community.
And you know what? It's easy for the president to make a song and it
Mhm.
goes viral. But instead of it, and I'm playing devil's advocate. This is not from the issue room. This is coming from me, and I'm being honest. That
Yeah,
when you look at it from the perspective of something that's continued to linger, there are many national issues, things that we're going to be talking about. Coming Friday.
yeah,
The topic we were going to cover tonight we have had to do with the ritualistic killing. The
yeah.
vice president had come up with a position. Up to now, we have not heard anything. So the point
Okay.
I'm making here is it's good for the president to make music and it
Hmm.
goes viral. But on these kinds of national issue, when your people are affected, right next door, a place that is probably a stone throw away from most of his visits, uh, I think it's important. When he was not president, we know that he visited the camp on numerous occasions. Now that is happening, and these people are in destitute. They're confused. They feel no one is there for them on all sides, because the UNHCR say, "Listen, we're done with you. We told you a long time ago." ECOWAS is fence sitting. The Ghanaian government is saying, "Okay, we'll extend it up to December." But what happens come December, and if they're not ready to leave?
Yeah, another certain point, and honestly, this is where critics of the current administration sometimes come across as being right. When there are national crises, when there are things happening to Liberians abroad or even in Liberia, we have a president who remains disengaged. Mr. Weir, says little or nothing about some of these critical issues that require his intervention as president. So when you have a president who is disengaged, who is more fixated, on socialization, making music, getting in things that he has little or no understanding of, then it makes people to wonder what is the future of Liberia with we as presidency,
Yeah, Baza?
Sure. Moses actually stated my point. The point I was trying to make. I just buttressed what he said. At this point in time, we don't know for sure what our government is doing behind the scene to address the situation. But then again, because of the veracity of this situation, whatever efforts the government is doing, some of it must be visible. People must have that reassurance, because people have their family, their relatives, and people like us, we are concerned. And even the refugees themselves who are caught up in this unfortunate situation, the government must be proactive. They must be visible. By now, we should have heard from the government in a concerted and a targeted in a way, so that we don't sit down and make assumption or assume that they're doing nothing when maybe they're doing some things behind the background. But they must be visible.
Right.
They must present tangible resolutions that will really augur well for the refugees. I mean, like I said, I've frequented the camp. I've stayed on the camp before, even though for short interval, and I can easily see how it would be alarming for people who there. So whether they have other opportunities in the past to repatriate and they decided not to or not, I don't think that is our judgment, to make, because we really don't know a person's unique situation. Some of those people being on that camp, some of them actually born there. Some of them went there when they were teenagers. Now they in their late 30s and 40s, they're having their families there. So those are all things to consider. Sometimes when people are comfortable somewhere, to just get up and root yourself off with your family and everything that you're familiar with. Some of those people no longer know Liberia. Like when the TRC was working on the camp, we took statement taking on the camp for 6 months, from June 2007 to December 31st, 2007. And I was on that camp, like 2-3 weeks in a row at different intervals. And I spoke to people, general, some of them said they never want to go home because they don't have any families in Liberia anymore. And one person said, I was kind of shocked, and I said, but which Liberian does not have a relative in Liberia? And this lady said, she broke down. She said, they killed my entire family. I'm not from Monrovia. She said, they killed my entire family. All the men in my family who took care of us, they killed them. They killed my mother. She said, I'm the only person alive with my little nephews and stuff. And she said, we're not going back to Liberia. If I go to Liberia today, I will be homeless in my own country. So we don't know how many of these people that are on this camp now who are in this situation or similar situation that I'm describing. So I think we should be a little bit, yes, speak the truth about what is happening. People have some opportunities, they pass it up, so and so. But at the end of the day, I don't think this is the time now to say, well, you look for it. My concern here now is that the government of Liberia, the embassy in Liberia should be really in Ghana, the Liberian embassy in Ghana should be really proactive now in trying to come to to the aid of those people and bring them some relief.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. We're now 8:15. We have about 15 minutes to go. The issues room is here. We have a lot of folks in the chat room. Evelyn B. Let me see what she said. They need resources to enable them to leave. Another issue is the Liberian government ready to receive them. Who will address, them in the government? Or rather, who will house rather these people? I kind of missed one other line. Who will house
Yeah.
these people? And it's something to be concerned about.
Of
I know
course.
that we had the Liberia Repatriation and Resettlement Commission in Liberia at the time. When I was in Liberia, it was headed by Deacon Carter, and then at one time, Abla Kidebegu. I think after she left, I believe the immigration went there. So I don't know if that commission is still functional. But again, that commission should be liaising, with the Liberia Returning Network as one of the umbrella organization to help get these folks home. Let me see. This person says, um, I think there is a problem with the line. Okay, they were talking to that caller. We recently sent funds to get family members back to Liberia. Instead, they asked for a year rent in Ghana. So uh, somebody just said that. They send money. Say, man, you got to go back home. Here's the return money. But they use the money to pay rent in Ghana because,
Yeah.
again, I think it's that existential fear of what people are hearing now. If you're hearing all of this ritualistic killing in Liberia, if you hear about people getting missing, if you hear about body parts being extracted, some for the black market and some for ritualistic purpose because people want to get bigger government positions, that wouldn't scare you, colleagues? Wouldn't that scare the heck out of you and say, wait a minute, I'd rather be here in Ghana where at least we're getting low 24-hour electricity rather than go to Monrovia where electricity is rationed, no pipe-borne water. The situation is horrible. Uh, what do you think, Moses?
That's very scary. Buchanan. It's very, very scary. For anyone out there, take for example, our Moses Sen is sitting here in Delaware. If you were to ask me to go to Liberia in the wake of all of these terrible reports, I will be a little bit apprehensive at this time because I don't know what may happen.
Listen,
You know?
Moses, stop. Moses, stop. This is interesting. Do you know who we have backstage?
No.
We have Emmanuel Tyrone, the
Oh
executive
wow.
director
Okay.
of LRN.
Okay,
Um,
great. I think we can
so I
usher him
guess
in.
let's just hopefully bring him in
Yeah,
and let's get him engaged. I see Masa trying to get some stuff straightened up backstage as well.
that would
Uh,
be helpful.
um, Mr. Tyrone, I know you can hear me, so get yourself situated because I'm about to bring you in studio. Um, we didn't know that you guys would come in. We started since 7, but it's good to have you.
Okay.
Unfortunately, your lighting is a little poor, but it's not bad. We'll
Anyway,
make do with what we have.
that's
Can you
understandable.
hear us? And good evening. Welcome to the issues room.
Yeah,
Hello,
yes, I'm hearing you.
and Emmanuel, I want to welcome you to this broadcast. We understand you are in Africa, Liberia. I'm not trying to put Africa down, so we understand the complication,
Thank
but
you.
we want to welcome you to this podcast.
I'm not sure
Thank you so much.
if you followed the broadcast since we started, but we've gone
No,
historically. Yeah, we've gone historically over the events. We talked about the experiences, and both Masa and Moses covered a lot of backdrop about the whole situation. But we just want you to bring us up to speed, and because we don't have time in our favor, and the fact that you could make it in, that's great. We want you to bring us up to speed where all of the negotiations are now. How many people are affected by this exercise for returning and the demolition and all of that? But where is the negotiation, and what's your involvement, the Liberian government involvement, if you know of anything, the Ghanaian Authority, the UNHCR? Bring us together.
okay. Thank you so much. I'm sorry for the late arrival.
Okay.
You know, I tried to get in touch with my counterpart in Ghana, but she lost her father just this morning. So it was like it been a real tough time for us. This is why you see I coming on this time. We've been back and forth with a lot of things. But howbeit, thank God as at least I appear on the show at this hour. Negotiation gone a little further. There's some improvement. The Liberian government been kind of dragging until we came in and we started the advocacy.
And who are the we?
And
Who
then
are we?
I think it's making
the Liberian Returning Network.
Yeah.
Liberian Returning Network. We started this advocacy since last year. We knew that this thing, it was like we were a soothsayer. We knew that this thing was coming. So last year in September, we did a documentary to encourage Liberians to see reason of returning home, because it was like the Ghanaians were like, we are coming to this point, and so it is time that Liberians prepare themselves for home. So we're trying to prepare them for home, because the Liberian government was forgotten about them totally, and so we went on a camp. We encouraged a lot of people. We engaged them, and the situation on the camp is compound complex. That is, the Liberians that live on the camp, they between 4,000 to 5,000 persons we're talking about here. All right, personally, that based on the camp, not Liberians that live outside the camp. I said Liberians who based on the camp, it's between 4,000 to 5,000 persons. Okay, and the issue of them being on the camp, there were too many missteps taken within the resettlement issue. After it was cut off, the local integration and the voluntary repatriation. The voluntary repatriation, when it got started, the Liberian government, the UNHCR, and the Ghanaian government didn't treat the Liberian refugees well. At that time, I was still on the camp because I lived there for 14 years. And when it got started, it was like, how can somebody live on a refugee camp and you give a family $5 per person to return home?
When you say $5,
in 2000, $5 United States dollars to return home. Really? And I felt, from 2014, it was $5. Through some of us, our advocates said they drag it up to $50. We talked about $50 was not still enough. They drag it to $100. To put it to speed, and it went up to $100 and $250. But yet and still, there were things that went undressed. That is, you have someone who went on the camp, lived there for 33 years, when there maybe they were 4 or 5, when there maybe they were 9 years old. They lived on the camp until they became men and women. They got married. They bore their children on the camp. And that person, the co-hand of death take them away. Those children don't have anyone that they know, a relative that they know in Liberia to return to. They were never captured in a repatriation. Then you have the unaccompanied elderly. Someone went with their stronger ones. And at the end of the day, the person who was strong died before the older person. That old person remains on that camp, is living there, no means to come home. There is no contact. The minds are deteriorated. They are living on that camp. The repatriation never captured them. All they were concerned about is a political arrangement that brought Malam Ellen Johnson to power. And at the end of the day, it was not captured. And I remember vividly that my sister there, they went on the camp, and I was in a meeting back then, and I asked a lot of questions when we were doing the TRC. I asked a lot of questions. Some of the questions went unanswered. All right, they were concerned about us going by home, coming here, but then the Liberian government was not prepared for us. Because if I left Liberia at the age 16, 17, and became a man, got married, both children, and don't know my way out, maybe I was living Lynn Street with my father. The father had passed. I don't know my way out. How do I return home? To whom am I coming? Where is the whom by whom am I coming to? So then my organization started a whom by whom campaign. That these people, there are people there that don't have a whom by whom. This is what keeping them there. So can we do something to bring these people by whom? They are not just lazy, as Liberian people term it. All right? That, they are just lazy. This is what keeping them there. Or some of them, they have whom here, but they don't want to return. But it's not the case. It's more to that. They are orphans on that camp, but they are adults. They know Liberia to be their country of origin, but Liberia is a strange land to them. And nobody cares about that. Nobody understands that situation. Today, the Ghanaian government has come up to say they want their land, and they're passing through the chiefs because they benefited. When we went on that camp, it was bushes. There were snakes biting people there. Today, they have a city that carry banks, build schools, a modern hospital that have a mortuary. All because the UN built all of these things because of
this is all done by Liberian refugees?
The United Nations.
Liberian refugees build their own homes, but United Nations built these things there because of us, because that was the benefit of the community.
Okay.
That was the benefit of the community. They had a makeshift junior high school. They turned it into a modern school. United Nations built that. The recreation center, the football field we had there, were taken from us, and a modern police station and the fire service station were built. Upstairs building. The St. Gregory Catholic Hospital. It served the whole region now.
Let me just say
all right. All of these buildings.
Tyrone, let me just say this quick before you continue. We are at the end of our show, so consensus here. Should we go till 9? Because I think this conversation has.
Yes.
I just want to. I just didn't want you to keep running on. So
yes, absolutely. Yes.
So 9 o'clock. Go ahead. So Tyrone, we're going to extend the broadcast to 2 hours, so we'll go till 9. So continue the story, but you just said something that kind of pricked me when you said to build a fire station, and we don't even have a whole country don't even have a fire station in Monrovia. Can you imagine
we
that?
Don't have
and the refugee camp has a modern fire station, a whole country. Fire brigade on Garden Street can be looking for water all over the place. But continue. I just thought to throw that humor in there.
You understand? So all of these things were built because of the refugees' presence. And so today, if you want the land, we are two sisterly countries. And for the information, through our advocacy, just the last Friday on my way driving to work, I received a call from the Ghana embassy that they want to have an audience with me. The ambassador, the consular called. Mr. Marshall, the ambassador want to have an audience with you. Now that there is this a threat of a xenophobic action to be, maybe they're thinking the Liberians could do that. But that is not within our DNA. All right? That because if this action is taken, Liberians in Ghana are angry. Liberians here, because when I'm on the radio and I conduct press conferences, Liberians are also angry, and they have a fear that if this thing bursts out, Ghanaians in Liberia will be haunted. And I say, you know why? And I gave him a word. I said, we will manage their peace very well, because we are not agitating for Ghana and Liberia to go look ahead. All we're looking for is an extension of the time. All right.
And how much more are you thinking? How much more are you thinking?
We are hoping, based on things that we wanted to do, and getting in contact with people like you and people like Sis Massa and other people, Liberians that live on Bujuburu and in the diaspora, they have met their, they have made their concern, and so we are asking at least up to March or April, but they have extended it to December. All right,
so
and I'm telling them that December.
Do you think that March or April will be reasonable to repatriate 5,000 people who still, you said, not really prepared?
It's not welcoming so reasonably, but what we are saying, you should look at something when you're begging a man. You should look at a situation whether he's willing to do it. Even in December, to drag for we and the government and the Liberian government to drag this to December, it been a real heated, discussion. Now they have barely dragged it to December, and we're telling them that December is like too short. And can you address it further? So based on this kind of discussion on such a network, and people like you and Sis Massa, who have played a major role in Liberian, peace policy and building all of that, if we all can get on board and see that there is a need, that a group of people are sorry to call them destitute, looking for a means of survival, and they will be thrown in the streets, that the country called Liberia, who have played so much role in Africa, today we like nobody.
Tyrone, just
Yes.
a quick question. You mentioned that in times past, when they decided to repatriate Liberian refugees, they gave a package, even though it was minimum $5. Now this time around, have they discussed a repatriation package for the Liberian refugees? One.
No.
Two, no, they have
No.
not. Okay.
No.
So,
Even personally, those who took integration, for the record, let me just bring up to speed. The Ghana government then went further, agreeing to a treaty, signed a document that, look, let people who want to be integrated in Ghana should be integrated, but we cannot give them traveling document. We will go to the Liberian government to get traveling document. The Liberian government, through the HRC, gave traveling document. In fact, the first one they gave is still in the hands of the Ghanaian government, and some of the people passport expired. They did not give it to them. Presently, as we speak, there's 1,900 plus passports in the hands of Ghana government through Ghana through the UN, HRC and UNHCR for the local integration package.
So
personally, they're talking about demolition. Everyone has not gotten their passport. Then to add insult to injury, they gave them a limited attestation. That is the resident permit. The resident permit don't permit you to get a job in Ghana.
Wow.
It don't permit you to even do business in Ghana. So what is the local integration? If you give me local integration to take the refugee crown from over my head, And you telling me that, hey, stay here, but you're not working. How my family and I will survive? So these are issues that the Liberian citizen in Ghana found themselves in personally, that they really need help. The best that we can do is those of our citizens that want to return who come home. Yeah, you said something, sir.
Yeah,
got a
Mr.
burning
Marshall,
question for
quickly.
Tyrone, but call me Moses after you.
Okay. Go ahead.
You want me? Okay.
Oh,
All right.
okay. Yeah,
All right.
so Mr. Marshall, I want you to clarify
Yeah.
something here for me.
Yeah.
From a review of what is happening in Ghana and other research, we discovered that in 2012, when the United Nations declared an end to the refugee status of Liberians in Ghana, ECOWAS got involved. And based on that, the refugees who decided to stay in Ghana were given the title of ECOWAS immigrants, and they were issued ECOWAS passports. Is that true?
No, it's not. It's not
Is
true.
that true?
The refugees were never issued ECOWAS. No ECOWAS pass was issued to any refugee. They went through the Liberian government to ask for passport for them. The Liberian government issued the first passport that would not even give some of the people did not even get it. It stayed with Ghana Refugee Board to expire. Only those who went after it were able to get it. And when you get the passport, when you get at any border entry, the Ghanaian immigration asks you why the passport is not stamped. How long you been in Ghana?
Are you telling us that these people were issued passports that were ill prepared? Is that what you're saying?
Seriously. Even and Brenda that should have been on the show today. Brenda is a living testimony. They issued Brenda a passport. Brenda went to Ghana at the age 9. She stays in Ghana until she's in her 40s today. Okay. And they were issued, she was part of those that took the local integration. They gave them 800 Ghana cedis. How much is 800 Ghana cedis? It's the $150. Say, order the $150, find your housing, send your children to school, send them to medical, find them if they're sick, carry them to give them a medical attention, order 100, less than $150 for local integration package. That's what the Ghanaian government did.
Let me come in, Tyrone. Let me come in quick.
Yeah.
So here's the burning question. You say you went on the camp probably around the age of 16. I'm sure that you may have gotten married and have children, and some of your children were born on the camp. If that is correct, please nod with me.
Yes.
Okay, great. So what is the citizenship status of your kids? Are they considered Ghanaians or are they considered Liberians?
Never. They are considered Liberian. Even it's a very difficult thing to even be. All right. They on the paper, Ghanaians are going to say, "Oh yeah, we agree to this thing," but they can never give you that.
So the document says born in Ghana but nationality Liberia. Is that what I'm hearing?
The issue that like for me and my family, some of us would talk spontaneous repatriation, which is like I was doing our advocating, and through my advocacy, I was like ran out of Ghana. So I had to flee, left my family there. My family had to follow later. So we never came through the voluntary repatriation.
But I'm asking the birth certificate of your kids born in Ghana.
We came by Liberia and try to get the case citizenship here. Because even I have gone to Minister of Health pleading for even some Liberians kids that were born in Ghana, and because of the accent, they were denied a birth certificate.
But now,
all right, and through my office, I pleaded. It was back then in 2016, 2014, 2015, 2016. All right, pleaded for them to get it because they were Liberian kids, but they were just born in a foreign soil.
No,
but and went to school there.
yeah, Mr. Marshall, quickly, I'm sorry, Volcano. Let me just follow up on the question that Volcano asked. And we want you to give us a legal definition of who is a citizen. Uh, Two Liberian parents gave birth to a child in Ghana. Is that child considered
Yeah.
a Liberian by birth
No,
or a Ghanaian by birth?
but by the Ghanaian law, you are not considered you are not considered you are not considered a citizen so long both of your parents are not Ghanaians. You are never a citizen
How
in
about one
Ghana.
or the other? How about one or the other?
If one of the parents is a Ghanaian, indeed they can consider that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay,
So yeah.
No, sorry, go ahead.
So like some of the Liberians or parents that married like some of the Ghanaian men that marry Liberian men that marry Ghanaian women, yes, their case can be considered as a Ghanaian.
Okay.
All right. Some of the women that marry Ghanaian men or that marry Liberian, their case can partly be accepted, but cannot hold certain position into Ghana because the father is a foreigner. But sometimes they can be sometimes at times they try to revise it. Sometimes it is not being considered because like Hannah Tete mother is father is a Ghanaian and mother I think from one of the European country, and she was after she went graded into NDC she was considered. So some of our Liberians that have one parent Ghanaians, indeed they can be considered.
Tyrone, did I hear you say by implication that Liberian refugees on the camp who were born there, like your children, they are not considered Ghanaians? They were never given a Ghanaian passport?
No, not at all. No.
Wow. Okay, and then my second question is in the when the war first started, when they first established the Bujuburu refugee camp for Liberians, there were a lot of, besides the UNHCR, there were a lot of international organizations that were assisting Liberian refugees in different areas. I know there was, when I engaged, I think you remember when I engaged Liberians on the camp during the TRC project, there were several organizations that we met that were work. Some of them were specifically for education, focusing on education. Some of them were
like
focusing
the Christian
on,
Council.
Yeah, some of them were focusing on health, and some of them were focusing on social and other different aspects of the human existence. Now, are some of these organizations still around? Are some of them still available to assist Liberian refugees or repatriate if they wanted to go home or if they wanted to assimilate?
A lot of them have scaled down. A lot of them have closed. The last time I was there shooting a documentary, I did a survey on the camp. You cannot find any of the organizations like the Ghana Christian Council. That lobby for Liberian refugees to go to school, and when they get a scholarship for us, almost 60 to 70% are given to Ghanaians, and 30 to 25% are given to Liberians, and then they put an age band to it, and many times then I will go to meeting and after I advocated for some of these things, you can tell me I'm responsible for the war. So I still want to go to school, and you get a scholarship. You say the scholarship is for people 20 years old, 17 years old to go to college. But I have the mind to go to college. Why can't I? And sometimes they brought about the WAEC. All right, the Christian Council. You will see a Daffy scholarship. You will see free porn on Daffy scholarship. You will see Kwame on Daffy scholarship. Then you see Eto. Then you see a Gaezo, or to see a Stevens. And all of these things were so difficult. Christian Council cannot boast of educating up to 100 Liberians on Daffy scholarship. All right. But the German government were giving a scholarship to the Liberian refugees. But some of these things were taken from us. Even the resettlement. Yes, there was some issue that Liberians were like, when they got more spaces, they would give some out to foreigners. But like during the 9/11, there was some family that were turned back because of the issue that was going on in America. And people went on those people's names today. You will go with your family. Emmanuel Tara Marshall, family of 4, his wife and 2 kids. You will see another Emmanuel Tara Marshall with mark on his face at Kotoka Airport. And they will turn me back that I'm not the rightful Emmanuel Tara Marshall. This is the rightful Emmanuel Tara Marshall. These things happen. And some family has died from it on that camp. These are history.
Thank you.
These are issues that we went through. The present situation is deplorable because the bunch of people that are really on that camp now, they really need help. There are a lot of issues about them. People need to study it more. While they are still there, Liberians are going into 2 to 3 elections. Why they have not returned home? It's not that because they are lazy or they don't have a mind to return home, but too many stories attached to them.
Thank you. If this is John Hills, this is the Issues Room. We are expanding our time here tonight up to 9 o'clock because we started this discussion, and Tyrone, who was one of our head guests tonight, who represents the Liberia Returning Network, came in very late, and it had to do with some circumstances, that led to that. We come on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, which is usually 11 o'clock in Liberia, and on Friday, the same time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 p.m. Liberia. We get broadcasting in the Issues Room on Facebook and YouTube, and we want to encourage all of you. We still have some time here if you want to call tonight. The number to call is posted right here. Let me just show you that number. It's 484-292-4397. We hope that you can call and chime in. Tyrone, let me come back to you quick before we go around the room. What is this story trending that the refugee camp, and is it probably one of those excuses they're using, that a refugee camp or the Bujuburu camp occupied by Liberians is a hideout for hardened criminals, people who are money laundering. We heard the story of black money boys. We're hearing the story of prostitution and all of those things. But then again, come to think about it, if the person is living in a refugee camp since 2014, the UNHCR stopped giving them any kind of sustenance. They can't work in Ghana, irrespective of the years they've been there. How do you think this is going to sustain themselves? So can we correlate the story around all of the negative things that the camp is a hideout correlated with the fact that people are not working?
I think I had a press conference and I really threw the light on that. It's like we have a saying in Liberia, right? Come stay with me and come spend time with me. They're 2 different things. Sometimes you spend time in somebody's house, they encourage you to come, and after a while, sometimes they get tired with you and they look for excuses. And I feel that is one of the excuses the Ghanaians are looking at and the authorities. Wheresoever that human being lives, you will have bad people, you will have good people. More like you said, people who are living on a refugee camp who are not working. But to just throw it out, the excuse, I told them that the excuse is lazy. That Liberian camp being used as a criminal hideout. A criminal hideout, we don't have 2 banks. A banking institution went there. The 2 banks there. All right? And they're operating. People got businesses. They got cafes. People have schools. People have computer schools operating there. Then UNHCR built a modern fire service and a modern police station. They gave them a fire service car and that patrol all around the place. They have a modern school there. They have a modern hospital. So are you counting these things as criminals are there, criminals are out? Yeah, I would never divorce that nobody live on the camp. There's not a single criminal live on the camp. But so you tell me that no single criminal live in Accra? You don't have a single criminal live in Kaswa? Indeed. So the excuse was very, very lazy, and they had nothing else to do. If they want their land, and so let them have it, but don't burn the Liberians as the number of years we live there. For them to start burning us as criminals. This is why they are taking the land. I think it's wrong, and this is where I front at the Liberian government that people are looking at your people and calling them criminals. And don't move you. Our president was just in Ghana. He went there for an ECOWAS discussion, and he did not mention anything about his people being in such a destitute position. There was nothing mentioned about it. He came by, he never said a word. And I had a radio talk show, and I talked about it. Sometimes people call you because we have a gullible society, and people call you, oh, no, you can't talk like that, and you can't say it like that. But I will say it bluntly. And we live like the country you people live in, and we have this quote unquote thought that, oh, we are replica of America. We are not. We are very, very far from America. Because a single American citizen is in danger somewhere. It will cause a 10 American citizen to die. To rescue that single American citizen, America will do that.
Thank you.
But
Let
not
me
us.
just quickly say we should go around the room because we're running out of time. We got 7 minutes
so,
left. Mostly just before you come in.
Okay,
and you're
sure.
right. That stigmatization is very bad for Liberians who have contributed to the Ghanaian economy since 1990 with the remittances of Liberians.
The remittances. The remittances.
Yeah. So I think that characterization is very poor. Massa Moses, who want to go first, and we wrap this thing up.
Yeah, look, I just wanted to follow up on the question of the accusations regarding Liberians engaging into crimes. And let's be human here. I know that not all Liberians are criminals and not all Liberians are engaging in issues of dishonesty. But while we're on this platform, can you tell us that there have been some terrible situations involving Liberians regarding crimes? Can you speak to
Yes,
that?
of course, yes. Of course, yes. I follow up some of those issues. And equally, Liberians were murdered on that camp. And the way they are carrying the story today, like the late Miller, James Miller, that man was murdered. He was cut into pieces. They butchered him in Awutu. Butchered that man to pieces who ran after that case. And today, there's nobody brought to justice. Children went in the Gulf because it's where we used to go to defecate. Went in the Gulf and they were slaughtered. All right? The Liberians are also equally, there were Liberians that were caught in crimes. Like the black money issue, yes, it's true. All right? It's true. So, but it is not like they had a whole syndicate on the camp. No. There were individuals who go out and get their money and come back and enjoy themselves. And sometimes people will be aware of them.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, Massa, come in quick.
Yeah, just to support, all of the points that Mr. Marshall is saying. I happened to have been on the camp when Mr. Miller was chopped into pieces. And I had met him on 2 previous occasions when I went on the camp. because every time from here I went on a camp before I went to Liberia, I had met him on 2 different occasions. Mrs. Kawa, who was on the camp, who used to sew Wiwi, she was my girlfriend. Yeah, I had met Miller twice at Wiwi place, and we kept company and everything. And then I so happened to have been visiting the camp when the camp was upside down. They said he went out the next day and then he didn't come back. They chopped it into pieces and I think threw a body on the camp or somewhere near the camp or something. But
it was in Awutu, by the roadside, yeah.
By the roadside in Awutu, yeah. They chopped that boy into pieces. I was there when, the coroner tried to piece his body together and all of that. It was a mess, but that was really traumatizing. And I also know that a lot of Liberian kids were being murdered for ritualistic killings. And I was also in Ghana when Ghanaians on the radio were actually accusing Liberians of being involved in ritualistic killing to the extent where late President Jerry Rawlings actually came on radio and said, "You stop it, you stop bothering the Liberians. What do they know about your culture? You know you're doing your cultural practices, you're killing each other, you're extracting your body parts. Poor Liberians on a refugee camp, what they know about your culture? You stop accusing." They were actually accusing Liberians of ritualistic killing, and Rawlings, I listened to him that day, he was on the radio defending Liberians. But my question, Mr. Marshall, is, I know that at the time they established the refugee camp, it was only meant to accommodate about 5,000 Liberians at the time from the beginning. But then later on, because of the war kept, going on, it wouldn't end. So by the time I went on the camp in 2000 June, remember with my TRC team to engage the camp, they had about 34,000 refugees on the camp. And then I also saw
even more than that.
It was estimated at the time. And then I also saw that the refugees on the camp had actually spill over to other neighboring villages like Kaswa and other villages. So my question here now is, does this situation only affect Liberians who are just within the perimeter of the camp, or is it extended to Liberians who are, in nearby villages like Kaswa and other places? And how are Liberians who are not exactly on the camp, but in these nearby villages, how are they faring?
This is one of the issues. Liberians outside the camp personally have not been affected. Personally, to the best of my knowledge, I go back and forth with information from my coordinators who are there. Liberians that are outside the camp have not been affected yet. But based on the xenophobic action of these people, when the demolition starts, the moment that demolition starts, I know that Liberians outside the camp will be affected within those, because it happened before in 2001. It happened, and it could be repeated. And they will see you, Liberia, you need to go to your home now. The moment it gets started and it split, maybe it turns into a confusion. And this is why I'm fighting that we don't reach that area, because if we don't fight, and it reaches that point that they will be beating Liberians because they do the demolition. They start it by like 3, 4 in the morning. All right, and it split over to confusion. It could affect Liberians living outside, but personally, no, they have not affected them.
Thank you. It's 9 o'clock in the city. We're broadcasting from the United States, the city of Philadelphia. I just want to say thank you so much, Emmanuel Tyrone Marshall, for coming into the issues room. We hope we had you earlier, but again, we were able to gain more from you. Thank you so much. We hope again that we can bring you back. I think you enjoy the company here. So as this, process continues, maybe around November, to see whether the ultimatum for December will hold, we can interface with you and the rest of the team. But thanks so much. I know it's late. Are you in Monrovia?
Yes, I'm in Monrovia.
So it's about what 1 o'clock, going 1 o'clock. It's about 1 o'clock.
Yes, 1 o'clock in Monrovia.
Thanks so much for keeping your eyes open and being with us. Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. We'll stay in touch. Listen, lady and gentlemen.
Before I leave, excuse, please give me just a minute. I'm asking this panel we've launched a home by home campaign. That is creating a home by home for those people that personally live in Bujuburu. We are only talking about Bujuburu, but if you go to the neighboring Guinea, Bujuburu case is a little bit better. We visited Guinea. If you see the Liberians, at least they live almost like a city. But Guinea, the people, they are in the bushes. If you see some of the huts that the Liberian sleeps in Guinea, you would never believe it. They've been very much ill-treated. So we've been talking to in the community leaders in Todi and in Ba to at least give us 10 acres or plus land that we can start lobbying with, like people like you, like on this platform, will be able to raise money so that we can start to build homes. Because everyone we interview in these places, the only thing they talk about, if we just have a place to lay our head when we get back home, if you bring buses, we will go. So what keeping most of the people there is a home by home, having a home by home. And so back in your platform, says Massa, the rest of you people are, credible voices. Can we just put our ads together and see how best we can do this project and bring our people back home? We are appealing to you people in the diaspora. We are appealing to Liberians and other philanthropists around the world to see how best we can do this. We can put people to shame. We can be more responsible and do something. There's a heart that everyone out there listening have. More than 1 million Liberians live in America, Canada. If everybody just trust like your platform and say, I donate $1, I donate $2, I donate just $5, that we can go to the supermarket and just buy the cookie and a candy for our children. But somebody needed to have a future.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tyrone.
Thank you. So listen, man, we way out of time.
Definitely we are.
I think we should just wrap it up. I thought it was a good discussion. We were able to get a lot of meat out of him being there, and some of the things that we were not very clear about, we got some answers to. But again, I think he supported the things we were not clear about, but even though we speculated a little bit on one or two items, he did come in and supported that those things we were already speculating were true. So again, I want to thank you, Massa. Damawa Watson is here trying to solicit our guests for Spoon TV and Focus on Liberia. Again, our guests can go to any platform. It doesn't matter here. But this is not a place for you to do your scouting.
We don't have control of that.
We are sisterly platform now, so
so you don't have to do scouting. They can reach out to us if they need a guest who will make contact with the guests and get guests in their studios. But lady, gentlemen, I think time fast spent. Let's call it a night, and we'll catch up Friday. Are we still going with the topic we had, the ritualistic killing? Are we sticking to it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're sticking to it. We're sticking to it. Yes, Damawa, we know. Let's work together for oneness, and that's what we're saying. But again, we got to do it with regards and respect. That's the way about it. We want to encourage you to always come on, invite others. Mark Miller, James Davis, Damawa stole the show tonight. She was just throwing things in. So we'll go back and read some of your stuff. Manjo Fambule, you were in studios, but we say thank you to everyone who came in. Masa, we gaining a little bit of traction. I have said this, and I think one of you agreed with me that it's not about the numbers, it's about the content. The numbers will come, and sometimes these numbers are not real, in fact.
Right.
And what is intriguing is that you have the platform. If you didn't watch the broadcast, you can always go and watch the repeat. But what we're concerned about is credibility to what we do, from the context and construct of professional ethical journalism, to make sure that we keep to our word. Of course,
Absolutely.
sometimes I will put my little disclaimer and go outside of the issue room and speak like a typical Liberian who has a
No, but
burning issue
I
to
mean,
discuss. Because again, it's about our country, it's about our people. And when we have, the government in place, and it doesn't have to be that we are government, it can be any government, or it can be the political construct of our society, not liaising with these philanthropic organizations to help repatriate our people, that this guy got to come out here tonight and making an appeal to the outside world, when we have a government where $25 million got missing, $16 billion got missing, this money, this money, this money. How much more it take to put people on buses and get them back home,
absolutely.
and build little estates for them? I think it's possible, it's doable, and we'll continue to talk about it. And I think we will bring Tyrone and his crew back this time to talk about how we can raise support
Yeah.
for this project. And I think
Yes.
it's a project because our people are in a dire situation. Thank you so
Okay.
much. Thank you, lady. Thank you.
Thank you, Volcano.
We had a great time.
Yes, definitely we
Absolutely.
did. It was a good evening.
I'll see you guys backstage. Can we hang here backstage?
Yeah.
You're still live. You're still live. Don't say that. All right, we're hanging
Yeah.
backstage.
Yeah.
Uh, I want you to enjoy the theme song a little bit.